You gotta. Here you go, bro.
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna be able to hear.
Grab your.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Nasty Production.
7 Mile Radio.
What up, doe? What up, doe? What up, doe? Happy hump day.
Yo.
It's Wednesday. Y'all know the vibe. Excuse My Truth podcast with Mac and Macho. Y'all know who it is.
We out here in these streets on a hump day Wednesday night.
Mac, what up with you, my baby?
I'm here, functioning, ready to have this conversation.
Mark D, what's up with you, my guy?
Word, my baby. Same old, same old. You know what it is.
Taj, what's up? We see you out here.
Taj, we appreciate you. Taj, we're gonna have to get you a motherfucking Excuse My Truth podcast t-shirt or something. You know what I mean? Because you definitely be the first to tap in. We appreciate the support.
What's up, Penelope girl?
What's up, Miss Penelope? We appreciate y'all tapping in tonight, man. We excited to talk about it. We got some special guests in the building. Mac, you want to introduce your special guest?
I shall introduce her. Her name is Kimberly J. Carter. She's one of my clients. I've cut like at least 1, 2, 3, 4 of her children's hair. 3.
For the last
Forever. I watched them grow up. She is a mother of many, one of whom was her biological child. The others were either adopted or she was the legal guardian of them. She has a powerful story of the trials and tribulations of raising children that were not her own and the challenges that came with that. And we're going to allow her, once we finish with all the introductions, we're going to allow her to share a little bit of her story.
And then to my immediate left is Detroit's own Ray Winans, who's going to give us a very high-level perspective. Ray has a movement, and he's very involved with the youth of the city of Detroit. And not only the city of Detroit, but Ray's movement is a national platform, and he goes to other cities across the country, and he helps implement programs to really gear toward youth. And I'll let Ray kind of tell a little more about what he does from a youth perspective. Want to share what you do, my boy?
So again, thank y'all for having me here.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you, man, for this radio station.
No, definitely, bro.
Again, my name is Ray Winans, born and raised on the east side of Detroit, third generation Project Baby. And so currently, I run a nonprofit organization called Detroit Friends and Family. And this young man right here across from me is Jaheem. That's my son. And so what we do is focus on community-based violence intervention work, right? Traditionally dealing with individuals who have, one, been convicted of violent crimes, 2, have been victims of violent crimes, and 3, suspected of violent crimes, and just helping change their life trajectories and putting them on a different path.
So today's topic, we are talking about today's youth. And as we're talking about today's youth, we are identifying if there's hope for today's youth, or is today's youth just lost? And Mac,
Yes.
kind of threw the topic out there, so I'm gonna kind of let her take the reins.
Well, this we can't deny the fact that we are of a different caliber than this generation that we're presented with now. I mean, I have a 13-year-old son, and we come from 2 different eras. You know what I mean? They're vocal. We weren't allowed to be. You know what I'm saying? They have expression of emotion, and we had to suppress that shit and put a smile on our face every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's a challenge dealing with this generation, because what they perceive as communication, we receive as disrespect. And sometimes it's notwithstanding the method, because it's some people that just don't want to be talked back to, period. You understand what I'm saying? So me and my son kind of butt heads because I'm of the generation like, listen, if I say it, that's it. All this debating back and forth, I don't argue with kids, but they have a voice, and we have to honor that to some degree, but we also have to tame it to some degree. I think the disrespect comes in when we offer or when we allow loose communication.
What do
When-
you mean by loose communication?
Loose communication without boundaries, without limitations, without respect for whom you're talking to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can, with my peer, I might be able to say it this way, but when my son called me bro, I immediately correct him. I'm not your bro.
Right.
Do not use that communication with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
It's loose communication when we have no boundaries. And that's when they're able to go out into the streets in this world and disrespect whomever else because we've not set the standard. And so sometimes it's not that they're disrespectful, they haven't been taught any better.
That's interesting. So I have one biological child, a daughter.
Okay.
And I tell my daughter, I'm her friend first. I'm her father second. So I give you a perfect example. Yesterday, my daughter called me and said, "Dad, do you think the loft is safe?" I told her my perspective.
Do you think that wasn't
This loft, they be
the
calling-
loft
yeah,
is
it's-
safe?
yeah.
Okay.
And so she says, and so when I told her my perspective, she said, "What you about to do?" I said, "I'm about to go to Trump." She said, "Well, I probably just need to come with you then." Right? I hang out with my daughter. Me and my daughter, we party together. I made that decision because I was raised similar to what you was. My voice was stifled. I didn't have a voice, so I was forced to suppress everything, including my feelings. Unfortunately, the suppressing of my voice and my feelings did more harm in the community than it did good.
Because it came out through your actions.
Exactly. And so what I couldn't do at home, I had to do in the streets. And so I never wanted families to feel what I sent families through. Even now, right, I pride myself and my work on I have more young guys than anybody else. I got more young guys than most football fields,
Okay.
football coaches. And the reason why is because I create the space, right, for their voices to be heard. My mama is like, you do what I tell you to do. And that's just what it is.
And don't question.
And you better not question it.
Right.
Right? I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. Well, if you understand the psychology of children, every child is uniquely different. So for me, whereas this is my blood younger brother, her telling him, I brought you in this world, I'll take him out, he like, let me get it together. Me, I'm hearing it like, damn, you gonna kill me?
Right.
Right? Two totally
Perspective,
different.
perception.
Right, exactly, right? He say, Mom, I'm gonna learn what not to do by watching him. Me, I got to be a young fool so I can be a wise man. Right? And so when parents come to me with their children and they say, man, this kid is bad, I say, I don't know any bad children. Right? Experience and exposure is the greatest tool and greatest resource for me, in my experience, that any young person can have. Right? It's when we, and let me just share this. I remember I was on punishment. I stayed on punishment. They was going to Babalo. I couldn't go because I was on punishment. I was getting bad grades in all academia on my report cards except in music. My punishment was I get taken out of music. Right? I dropped out in the 8th grade. He graduated high school. We were two different children. We had two different fathers. Right? We had different experiences in life, different exposures. Right?
Different impacts, different effects.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? And so for me, when one asks the question about the youth, I tell them all the time, it's not the youth that's the problem, it's the adults. I tell Jaheim and them that all the time. Because adults don't want to relate, in my experience, with kids on an adult level and still allow them to be kids. I'm the adult, you're the child. If God give you free will, then who am I to take that from you? If I don't develop the proper communication skills and the listening skills to hear you, because I'm not listening to what you're saying all the time, right? Some people listen to tone.
And that's part of the problem, though, the listening part. Like, because, see, sometimes they may not be able to say it with their mouths, right? They say it with their behavior. They're saying something that we're either not seeing or hearing or translating.
Mac, you dead on. Because I've had kids say they run away from home. I said they're not running away from home because they don't like their parents. They don't like what's going on in their home. When I ran away from home, it wasn't because I hated my mom. I just hated the environment that we had. And so I wanted a different environment. My thing was, my mom looked at the environment as the best environment that she was raising us in, right? However, I looked at it like, look, you trying to be holier than thou with the environment that you raising us in. You trying to keep me away from my grandmother's environment. My mama said that environment over there ain't no good, but right or wrong, our house was raided before, right? And so my grandmother's house was never raided when I was in there. But my mother felt what my grandmother was doing was detrimental to my growth. It was the environment in the home that I was living in that I didn't want to be a part of. I love my mom.
Right.
So it's, again, it's
Kim-
perspective.
It is. Kim, tell us a little bit about your story.
So my story is, like I said, I got one biological child. I got one that's a relative placement. I brought her home from the hospital when she was born. She's 23 now.
And you brought her when she was born?
I brought her home from the hospital when she was born.
Oh wow,
So it's like
that's your child.
That's her baby.
It was one of those. You either come get her or can't nobody else get her.
That must be a Kim thing, because my mama named Kim did the same thing.
Yeah, not for real.
She was the
birth
lady
three-
in the shoot too.
Birth 3 and raised 10.
So then I decided, 2004, I'm gonna go to, foster care training classes. Became a foster parent licensed. I didn't get the kids until 2005. They were 2 and 3.
And you were already a parent of your biological before you took on the family addition.
Before I took on the family addition.
Gotcha.
My son, he was born in 90. And then my daughter, 99. Like I said, so they were brought to my house, 2 and 3. So of course, they toddlers. This is a big adjustment for me also, whatever. They were taken, their mom was a teen mom. Her grandmother raised them, but when CPS get involved, same thing with the legal guardianship too. Senior citizens can't have no babies or no toddlers, and they too old to take care of toddlers. But what I did was I kept them with the relationship with their grandmother. I even let her call my house. The next year, 2006, she have another baby. Okay, yeah, I bring him on home. So now this the one I'm bringing home from the hospital. He's 16. He's 16 now. They're 20 and 21. I have raised these kids from 2 all the way up until now they're decided they want to be grown. And when I say be grown at 16 and 17. And it was, I met my now husband the next year, 2007. He's been in their life ever since then. So for the 16-year-old, that's the only daddy he knows. He was actually calling him daddy. Until the other two said, that's not your daddy. So then, 2016, I let them, let me run it back. I had a village for those kids. Like me, my husband's family, my family, my church family, my extended family, my son's family. Everybody embraced those kids and took them in. No different. So we raised them, even my husband's family. 2016, she decided, their biological mom decided to reach out to them. So go ahead, you can have contact with her, because I had stopped her from, I was a nice foster mother. I had stopped her from calling my house because she called CPS on me. They were going to separate your kids. But I officially became the adoptive parent in 2009. So now these are my kids. Named them, new birth certificates, everything.
You got parental rights.
I got parental rights. Everything. Everything from their old life is just gone. 2016, I decided, she called them. My house number hasn't changed. She called, I let them talk to her, let them go over there. They decided, now she wants to be their friend. She wants to make up for what she lost out on with doing for them. And I said, you can't do that. That's something you cannot do, because now I'm the villain. Because if I say no, you going to say yes. You going to buy them whatever they want. No problem. I had no problem with those kids in school until then. I had no problem. Well, I had the girl was disrespectful, just out of boundaries or whatever. So it's like you can control her. But she was bipolar. So every last one of those kids
with a legit medical diagnosis,
with a
though.
legit medical diagnosis of bipolar, their biological mom. Every last one of those kids have something of her in them.
Some genes is a bad motherfucker.
Genes is something else. And I worked afternoons, so my husband would be at home with the kids, cook for them, pick them up from school. It worked out for us. It worked out for us so good that the teachers at the school was like, "Oh, y'all got a 2-parent family, 2-parent working family," because we both work. They were shocked. I'm like, "Yeah, that's normal." Like I said, so then in 2018, I'm on a cruise ship. No, you not get the phone call. My husband done called and said, the truant officer done came over here for Nick. Huh? He decides he don't want to go to school no more because his friends not at the school no more. What do you mean? So now I enroll you in another school. Afterwards, the Ariana got kicked out of Renaissance because her friends don't go there no more. Those two right there. And then Ariana, she got out of my house at 16. She found her biological dad. I'm going to move out. And stood up there and told us, call the police on us. Now, where does the police let a 16-year-old come in the house and you give them what they want? But you're not going to keep disrupting my household. I let her come back. She graduated from school too. Nick graduated from school. But then COVID happened. Now he got unemployment money. Left my house. Gone all the time. He got the money. She got the money. She coming back and forth. She graduated from high school. We didn't never ask them for a dime. So now he gone. He come back after unemployment dries up. Get a job. You got to get a job because you graduated from high school. You got to get a job. Ain't no man going to let another man, because now you're our man, be in his house. And I'm getting up going to work every day. And you laying up in here just free will. He gets a job. Get a little girlfriend. He still got the same girlfriend. Now she pregnant. Run over there. Take her money. Take his money. Go over there. We still ain't asked you for no money. No, I'll take that back. I did. I give you 3 months, 3 paychecks. Then you're going to start paying the bill. He left with his money. Gone. Now, after she had a baby, they gone for some months. Now he got to come back home. I ain't going to never not let you come back home. But you're still not going to lay here and not have no job.
But no, when he come back home, he bringing a baby and the mom too, right?
No. He bringing his baby. Because she leaving his baby on him. Because she working. He ain't working. Now, I set you up to have a job. On our corner, we got a McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and Subway. On the corner. And you can't walk to work. So what you got to say? What you got to say?
It's interesting, Kim.
Like he ready.
No, listen, because I'm listening to you. And as I'm listening to you,
Stay to the right of your mic so the camera can see you.
all right. And so as I'm listening to you, the one thing that I personally like, once you leave, I'm not coming back, because when I let you come back, I'm saying I'm okay with everything that you were doing before you left. Right? One. So,
Codependency.
right. And so it's also emotional incest, because when you think about it, like as you said, ain't no man gonna let another man. So I didn't speak to it, because you over there nodding.
No, because remember you just told me that you like, when I was laying down and shit, you was like, hey bro, you got work tomorrow. Don't know, man, if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah.
And that's biblical.
Right. And so for me, as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a mentor, working with young black boys, my thing is like, listen, you got a right to be a man when you decide you're gonna be a man, right? And so for me being a man, I'm gonna show you what type of man I am, right? And you gonna show me what kind of man you is, right? You gonna make your move, I'm gonna make mine. But you ain't gonna. This shit ain't a revolving door, right? So
he eventually stopped that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? My husband, he did stop that revolving door.
Because you would have allowed it.
Because I would have allowed it, but then I gave you months. I gave you the time. This is the type of mom I am. I'm going to help you. I sit on there and fill out your applications.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do all your applications.
Oh, you the handicap mom. You the enabler.
You see what I'm saying?
She doing what mothers do.
I'm gonna make you.
No, that ain't nurturing.
But then no, that's enabling.
That's
enabling. He labeled it exactly what
Pacifying.
That's enabling, and that's
then they
pacifying.
still have to go present
They still gotta
themselves
present
adequately
themselves. So
and
now
intelligently.
You got a job at the Dollar General. On the corner. I go buy your uniform pants. 2 pair of pants. That you can walk up on the corner and get. I said, oh, so what happened on your first day of work? Oh, nothing.
He wanted you to go to work for him and
Yeah, because you did everything else leading up to
wait a
it.
minute,
But she the nurturing mom.
I said, so when did you go back? He said, oh, I don't know. I said, my husband said, I don't think he left out this house.
Yeah. So,
I said, so now we're going to look at the cameras to see whether or not you left here, because he worked midnight. So he don't know, he upstairs asleep. So we don't know. We're going to see if you left. That's when he finally admitted.
Yeah. They be forgetting them
What's his
cameras
age?
exist.
How young is he now?
He's 21. This is when he was 20. This was last
She's a nurturing
year.
mom. He a man, but he a boy.
He a man,
He's
but
an
he a boy.
adult. He's not a
No,
man.
no.
Adult.
Listen to what I'm saying.
He's
bro.
a legally adult.
But
he's
she-
not a man.
But you got to realize that again, I done gave you plenty of opportunities. Well, we even went to the McDonald's. McDonald's was the last resort because we know the manager. And you didn't go there. It's like they are influenced by their friends. So whatever. So he gets a job at Amazon. He go as long as his friend going, he going. One day I said, don't you supposed to be at work today? Oh, he ain't go to work. I said, why you didn't go? Why you ain't go? I ain't have no ride. Lyft. You got an ounce of weed in your pocket.
See, now, Paul, so I without even remotely wanting to interrupt, the first thing I thought to myself when you were doing all this, I said, I want to ask if this dude blows, and if he blows and he can afford to get his own weed.
Do.
But then at this point, it's not
priorities,
nurturing,
bro.
It's not nurturing.
It's
That's enabling.
Listen,
Yeah,
but
because
you can nurture
if you-
enabling behavior. When I say nurturing, I'm
Okay.
intentional about the use of the word nurturing because you can nurture some bullshit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can right, and so when
And
you say,
reinforce it, because if you nurture it, you reinforce
reinforcing
it.
You saying it's okay, it's socially acceptable
Because there's a reward for that.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
right? And so that's why. And so I'm always mindful of trauma-informed care in my line of work. So I have to be intentional about the choice of words that I use because when I'm dealing with moms who nurture, you trying to say I'm a bad parent? No, I'm just saying you just nurture this shit that your child do.
But here's the thing now. Like I said, I done raised them. I done have them. But that girl, I ain't never did shit for her. I don't never do nothing. How did you get this far? I've never done nothing for her.
The shit you did was because you wanted to do, not because she asked you to.
A word you used when we were pre-gaming is that entitlement syndrome.
That entitlement.
And where does that develop from is what we have to understand. Kids, and I have to like he always say, you know, I'm a thumb pointer. I'm really not. I don't even know what that is. But I'm gonna accept the fact that sometimes with my own child, right? You know, I'm lax with the punishment. You know, I'm kind of parent out of guilt sometimes. So it's like I'm reinforcing your behavior because your punishment isn't severe enough to deter your behavior.
Yeah, it's never that, right? So think about it. Like we can hit it on so many levels. No matter what your consequences is, it's still about my choices. The choices I make, I got to deal with the consequences of, right? So if you telling me I skip school, I'm gonna get my ass whooped. no matter how much you whoop my ass, if I find that skipping school is more important, then I take the ass whooping.
If the rewards of skipping school is greater than the punishment,
Facts.
then there's nothing your punishment can do to deter my behavior.
Exactly.
But see, we didn't have that issue. I didn't have that issue of them skipping school. I didn't have that issue. The only issue I had was they letting society or their friends or the internet dictate what I should do for them.
I don't think the lack of the skipping school being the issue changes that narrative, because he still is dealing with what his wants are and what he's going to do,
So,
regardless of the consequences.
Now we're gonna go to the
Immediate gratification.
unappreciativeness. He showed me his unappreciativeness. I'm a shopper. Go out every Black Friday to shop. I go and buy some Timberlands from Burlington Coat Factory while I'm out of Great Lakes Crossing.
Oh, them ain't Tim, the Timberlands.
Timberland.
You know, whatever.
Timbermen.
Whatever.
Single soul.
Timberman
It's
sizes.
still the same. He would not wear them. Said he didn't want them.
Right. So that means he's ungrateful.
Ungrateful.
But he made like shit. You spent your money on shit, not me. I didn't ask you for 'em.
Ungrateful.
What makes it ungrateful, Kim?
Everything I bought now is ungrateful. If it didn't come from the store that everybody else stuff came from, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm not gonna wear it. My husband gave him a pair of Nike Air Force Ones. He took them and sold them.
He said somebody else had better value for him. My agitation is this right here. Here's what I've learned with working with young Black boys, right? That it's a freedom of choice and a freedom of expression, right? And so I don't force, right? So like I don't impose nothing. I always ask now, what you want to do, right? Because I'm gonna support you in that decision. Oh, you want to be a bum? I'm gonna help your ass be a bum. Right? If you want to do this, right? So I want you to have, so therefore I never feel offended or disrespected by your actions. It's your world, my man. Create that motherfucker.
So that's why I stopped buying. I stopped. I'm not buying you nothing else. Take the money. You can go get it. And then
it's the same difference.
No, you can take the money and you can go.
And
I'm
go
not
get what you
going
can
to
afford.
buy.
As he is an adult.
No, I don't give up no money now. You not can't get a dime from me. You can't even tell me your baby need diapers because I ain't gonna believe you.
So Kim, you dealing with a very similar situation that I was dealing with my 21-year-old son, who also has a 2-year-old son. And what my situation, it was a what I perceived as disrespect from my son, right? And as a single father at the raising 3 kids and really pretty much doing majority of it by myself because the mom moved out of state. But my son in his case was and no revolving door. But what I don't do is I don't idle threaten my kid. You know what I mean? Like I'm very consistent. Okay. I'm very intentional, right? And words are just that. You know what I mean? Like words without action means absolutely nothing to me. You know what I mean? But where my son is at now, and the same things that I say to him was, again, I am not waking up, leaving out of here, going to work, and you're not. It's not like you're 14 and you're dependent of me now. You can contribute, motherfucker. You have to contribute because DTE don't care that you're 21 or you know what I mean. Like they want their money. You know what I mean. So I, as your parent, I can't set you up for failure. And maybe that's the difference between me as the man, like dealing with my son versus you as the mom. You know what I mean? Because again, his mom nurtures his bullshit and condones his bullshit. I like the way you said that because that is still nurturing. It's just like you enabling the bullshit, but you're still nurturing because you're pacifying it, right? And you're perpetuating it by nurturing it, right?
And the key is that in our intellectual adult cognitive minds, right, we understand what's going on.
Facts.
Talk about it, man.
But in their adolescent, premature development of brain or cognitive
Underdeveloped.
ability, of cognitive ability, they're not thinking the way we're thinking.
100%.
And I'm learning that. Like I'm working on my master's in clinical
I
psychology.
can tell, right? Because you speaking the language.
Yeah, so I'm learning stuff as I'm taking this class, and I'm learning stuff about myself that I contributed to, right? And so, if even with my child, he's not my biological child, and I've been there since birth. I cut the umbilical cord, named him, and everything, right? but he's not my biological child. And I have to give deference to genetics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
shit I cannot control.
Yep.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to be able to control it,
Yeah.
I didn't produce it.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And so I have to give deference to some degree about some things that, even though my nurture versus nature, my nurture is teaching you this. Your nature, your genetic, your predisposition to
Yep.
aggression, your predisposition to irritation, your predisposition to conduct disorders
Yeah.
has nothing to do with my ability
You
to
can
parent
nurture.
you
Yep,
Right.
exactly.
and my nurturing.
Right.
My nurture really is only supposed to not undo what your genes did, but to help you navigate
And
your
figure it
way
out.
through
Yeah.
what your genes produced.
And that's where I was gonna go, because with me dealing with my son, who I produced, he has my DNA and my genetics. So that whole dynamic is
your wife or his mom's.
yeah. But what I'm saying, to her situation, you're dealing with to what Mac just said, because this isn't the child that you birthed, right? So
and
so
you
again,
want him to get all of your parental
Yeah.
input, but there's
Right.
an input that
especially
you can't
if he was born with a
control.
chemical dependency. We don't know that. You know what I mean? Like there's just
that,
You know what I mean?
Which produces
Yeah,
conduct and
that's-
attention
yeah,
deficit
that's the
behavioral
point.
That
disorders.
That's the point.
And so I couldn't understand even with my own child.
yeah.
I'm like, why? What the fuck is going on? I'm talking about in preschool. This nigga was turning over tables, breaking computers. I'm like, what? Hold up! Like, what's going
Right.
on?
But see, that's the thing. You have the expectation, but then you sit down and talk to him. It's like I said, I'm not a talker, but he did, and so everything that my husband told them was going to happen has happened. He's number 10 out of 11 kids. So his oldest nephew is just 5 years younger than him, and take it on down. So I done seen it all. I'm gonna tell y'all everything that's going to happen to y'all in life. We don't want this to happen to y'all. And what done happened? This one done did this one. This one done did this one did that. They have all collectively done something, but it was always different.
Want me to
It
tell you
always
why?
different. Why?
Going back to what Mac was talking about. So one, the brain development of these children, right, in the way the brain is wired.
And they
So,
smart. It's smart as hell.
yeah, I
Could
mean,
get good grades.
but
They just
that,
got to put their mind to it.
but here's the also right. They mind wonders, right? They mind. They don't even understand who it is that they are, and they and so. I'm big on this. We used to get whoopings as kids, right? You want to see me get pissed off right now? Hit a child. It ain't shit that a person can do, a kid can do to deserve a whooping, in my experience, in my opinion. Right? It's called ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences. The more you beat on me, yeah, I can't whoop your ass, mom, but I'm going to fuck these niggas in the streets all the way up. Why? Because what you teaching me is when a motherfucker don't do what I say do, fuck them up. That's my mind. That wasn't my brother's mindset, but in my mindset, right?
But you know what? That was the mindset, and I'm not making an excuse, but it is an explanation as to why it's hard for this generation to relate to this generation, because we were raised up on that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
But see,
We got
like,
our
it was
ass beat for a dish that wasn't
Absolutely.
washed properly.
It was
You
it was the
understand what
norm
I'm
for
saying? And
us.
so this generation who's aware and knows the number to CPS.
When we take
You
what we
know
do,
what
but when
I'm
we take something
saying?
back, what we do, right? Here's what I believe adults do: we blame this generation, right, for shit that ain't got shit to do with them. And I'm
It
tell you
really
how-
doesn't.
It,
It's the fact that things have trickled
Th-
down from
things have-
generation to generation,
and-
and this generation ain't having
but
it.
listen to what Kim just said.
The generations have changed. Like I tell my kids, everything that you all are doing, I have done.
No,
No, we
No,
haven't.
you haven't.
just-
No,
no, hold on,
that's
hold
when
on,
y'all
hold
fuck
on,
up
hold
at
on.
thinking.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Everything that you doing, I have done to a certain extent.
no.
Still-
But wait a
still
minute, hold
even
on.
then.
Wait a minute. Listen.
You don't have
But
the
we
internet.
didn't
We'll
have
start
the-
there.
we
They
didn't
didn't have
have
the
That's what I was about to
Thank
go.
to
you.
do what
That's
they
what
do.
I was
That's
gonna
a
say.
whole new. That's so.
That's what I was getting ready to
So
say.
you can't
This
so you
social
can't
media
say that.
presents
Because
a whole
that's not gonna
different
make that's
dynamic.
not gonna make
So,
sense to them.
so even if I told you that everything, like y'all just said, no, I can tell you that, but you're not gonna believe it, because guess what? It's
They
not
know it
the
ain't true.
internet around to tell you whether or not it's true or not.
Here,
Because
talk to us real
everything
quick.
you do, you put it on the internet.
Let's
Young
ask
man,
him.
he's,
No.
he's of this generation.
Yeah,
let's hear
absolutely.
from
Yeah, let's hear from
let's
him.
hear
Talk
from
to us,
this,
man. You hear the
this
conversation.
generation.
You hear the conversation. What's your perspective, man?
On what?
On everything we talking
Everything
about.
you heard thus far.
Um,
What do you want to agree with, contradict with,
See,
offer
me,
perspective
I was
to?
just like Ray. Like when mama with me, I was thinking like, all right, I'm gonna just take it out on somebody else. So
And how old are you for the record? How young are you?
I'm 21.
So
21.
were you a
So
fighter
same
as
age.
you were growing up through school? So when you got your ass whooped, they translate, okay, problem solving means beat somebody's ass.
He don't get
Open
with
your
Ray.
mouth.
He don't get with Ray because he's a what we consider a good kid.
He get with Ray because he has high transformer potential.
Is this your child or one of your mentees?
This is one of my mentees who is my
but
son.
who is your son?
Yeah.
Father of
Yeah.
many.
Yeah.
Abraham.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Like, see, I was in the streets, so it's hard for me. I went with my mama. Once my mama, like, I left my mama's house at 14. I was in the streets.
So you had no relationship, no contact, no nothing?
Yeah, I
no,
talked to her, but it's like I ain't coming back home though, because
I
I
feel
knew
it.
what she wasn't accepting.
I feel it. Okay.
Did you have younger siblings?
Yeah, and she was like, they ain't about to be following you, so you either leave or get it together. And that's what I wanted to do at the time, so I left.
Who that sound like, bro?
That's him. But
I
and
left
we
home
was-
at 14.
Yeah.
And never came back. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I killed
come
somebody by the time I was 15.
Damn.
But this is what I signed up for, and I knew what I wanted to be. So it was no secret to me.
So, at what point do you say enough is enough?
So-
like, at what?
As a parent?
As
you
a
saying?
parent,
Yeah.
like,
As a
hear
parent,
you.
I don't think enough is ever enough.
Kim, let me tell you something. My mama, I share this with these guys, right? Because we was just having this conversation today. We got some folks from out of town. They say Ray a professional, but Ray a street nigga, right? It is what it is. My mom didn't understand what she was raising, who she was raising. She didn't understand who she was raising, what she was raising. From my earliest childhood memory, I was always attracted to drug dealers and real killers, right? This is what I wanted to be that, right? When my father got murdered at 9 years old, I knew then I'm killing shit when I get older. I couldn't wait.
That was your goal.
That was my mission, my assignment, because I wanted motherfuckers to feel what I felt. Dog, y'all done killed my daddy, right? I'm killing everybody. I hate the world. My mama taking me to therapy sessions. She don't understand why this little nigga acting out. Beat my ass and everything. My cousin get killed when I'm 11. He was like my big brother. So that's the second murder. 14 years old, dude get killed in front of me. 15 years old, I done took a life. Prior to that, I done already got called assault off shotgun in school, gang banging.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, man.
As a mental health professional,
Mm-hmm.
do you agree that at the point of trauma is where a person ceases to emotionally, mentally cease development?
Most definitely, because your safety has been interrupted.
Right. So then if you cease development, you also cease the ability to reason. Right?
Yes.
And so if you cease the ability to reason and rationalize
Now,
your behavior, then your behavior makes sense to you at the emotional level to where which your development was stunted. You can grow as an individual. You can be a teenager.
But that
You can
mindset-
grow into an adult, but yet you're still emotionally stuck where you were at the point of trauma, which may be in adolescence. So your adolescent behavior as an adult doesn't make sense to people who are adults and cognitively thinking as adults.
Watch
right?
this, Matt. What do y'all call me? I'm the biggest what? I'm
19-year-old, you know.
the biggest 19-year-old, right? That's what
You
all
know
the
what I
youngest
mean?
say. They be like, well, you 19.
I always say I'm 51, but I have a very little young child inside there somewhere that has not fully developed to the capacity that she should have been developed because of trauma and the cessation of development upon that trauma.
Mac, my mama and my brothers, my aunties and everybody used to say I'm going to be dead by the time I'm 18. I'm like, shit, I'm going to kill shit before I die. That was my mindset, right? To God be all the glory. Thank God for the transformation. Homicide called my mama on me. This motherfucker's a menace, and we don't know. And my mindset, because of how fucked up my situations was, I be like, nigga say, nigga, I'm calling the police. I don't give a fuck about what the police know. They can't prove it.
What adult says, you kill my daddy, I'm killing everybody I see? That's an adolescent mentality.
Exactly.
That's being demonstrated by an adult.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
And so for the work
And so
that
it makes
yes.
no sense to us in our adult ability to understand and comprehend.
Right. That's why. That's
That's why
the
a
statement.
16-year-old's baby behavior, adolescent behavior, inability to comprehend consequences of behavior
Right.
is
Because
foreign to us because they've not developed to that level because they're stunted at the point of trauma.
right, like well, he started off saying like he knew the consequences, but the consequences didn't outweigh his desire to want to do what the fuck he was set intentionally out to do, and he, you know.
You ever whooped a kid or seen a kid get whooped and start screaming and hollering saying no, 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 and still get whooped? And then that kid grow up and go to put a belt on the motherfucker ass or a cinch cord on the motherfucker ass, and the person is begging, and they like, oh, the more you beg, the more I'm enforce this pain on you, right? I tell people this all the time, and this is nothing to be proud of, and I thank God for who he is in my life because all I do is save lives now. But me and the group of young guys was talking, and they all was talking about, and these guys, they had already took lives and shit, right? And none of them was over 18. And I had to unfortunately tell them, I say, listen, bro, we not the same. I say, y'all looking at it as like you killed the man because you shot the house up. You killed the man because you carjacked him and then you mistakenly killed him. You might have killed this woman or whatever the case may be. I say, but unfortunately, man, I had a man beg me not to kill him and still killed him. I say, so it was a different psychology. In that, I can't allow y'all to go down that path, right? Because hurt people and heal people heal people. I'm a firm believer in that. I've saved more lives than I've ever thought about taking, right? And so even with like a Jaheem, right? When I say, when they call me and say, Ray, we got a problem on the west side, I say, what's the problem? And it's the police and the government. Too many people being shot. Too many innocent people being killed. I said, all right, cool. I come to the west side and I'm going to get with the shooters. Hey, man, y'all got to stop this shit. Same on the east side. Now, I can't save everybody. But one thing that I can do is do my part.
Right.
Because I understand the brain development. I'm certified as a master trainer in ACEs. And so
that's why you're hearing the language.
Yes, exactly,
okay.
Right? And so for me, I understand how punitive trauma is to a child before they turn 18 years old.
Right.
And that full brain development. So you can't have compassion or mercy for a person when you feel like, nigga, ain't nobody ever had mercy for me. For me, growing up with my brother, right, we laugh about this shit now. But as a kid, he couldn't do no wrong in my mama's eyes. I was the redhead stepchild. Literally had red hair and everything I did was fucked up. So I'm like, shit, why I want to be around? Fuck, I want to be around for, right? You done already made your decision. You comparing me and my brother, you looking at his behavior and saying, yeah, and him being a child, he like, no, I ain't him. So my severe consequences was nowhere near mirrored his. His actions didn't mirror mine. However, it was a comparison between the two. So now you put me against my brother. Man, y'all can have this motherfucking house. I'm gone.
Got it. Let me ask you a question. So, for clarity's sake, with all of this explanation and underlying and all that type of stuff, what we're not doing is justifying
Most definitely.
behavior.
Right.
Hell
right?
no at all.
There is no justification for disrespect. There's
At
no
all.
justification for disobedience. There's no justification for entitlement and taking advantage of.
Exactly.
Right? What we're doing, however, is explaining
Exactly. The psychology of it.
the psychology and the dynamics behind it.
Yes.
I will pose this question to Jaheem, because you being 21, and I absolutely, again, even, having a 21-year-old son, obviously y'all same, yeah, you know him, right? So getting a chance to understand, like, y'all experiences are way different than ours. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, when we was growing up, that was rare for 14 to be like having them type of bodies and moving. Like, I'd be fucking amazed. I'm not lying when I hear the shit that he even deals with now and the shit that y'all deal with now. But as a 21-year-old who's now moving different in life, what were some of those things that you experienced that made you realize like this shit ain't the way to move now? You know what I'm saying? When I like not value life now when I'm moving this way.
And what do you have to say to these young men out here?
I got 2 kids.
Get a little closer to your mic, bro.
I got 2 boys, and my mama told me that all the niggas I'm with wasn't gonna make it out, and it really was true, cause all my friends dead right now. Like all my friends dead. I got all my niggas telling me they all dead, bro.
Damn, how many tattoos you got on your?
I got like 17 tattoos on my arms and shit. Wow. But yeah, I seen most of my homeboys die in front of me. And I'd have been in shootouts 13, 14. I ain't going to school because I'm gang bang. I can't go to school. I even do it with Ray. Like certain places Ray go, I ain't going, bro. Because I ain't got no gun around me. I don't really step without no gun because I know what I done and I know what come with it and I accept it.
To this day?
To this day. I mean, it's 50-50 because Ray really saved me because me and, like, I just came home November 1st.
Okay. And
I was fighting carjacking, attempt, all type of stuff. And Ray was there the whole time, so I'm like, I gotta do something different. I don't want my son going down it. My 2 boys going down the same road as me. So I just started working with Ray, and I seen the bigger picture. Like,
what is the bigger picture?
I'd rather save my brothers than hurt the. I'd rather help the community than hurt the community. I didn't hurt the community enough, so I feel like I should. Since I was hurting the community, I should be the one to help the community too. Cause I know, come from me, and people know me. They know what I do, so it's like they listen to me.
So if you can change,
yeah, and I know my peers will listen to me. So it's like, why not help Ray when I know I got a voice?
Your sons are watching you.
Yeah, they watch me a lot.
Even more so than your peers. Your babies are.
And that shit matter though, man. As a man raising, a young man, because again, my son 21. And he 18.
They hooped together. They was
we was on the same team.
Oh.
We was throwing oops to each other.
Okay, yeah. So that definitely. And I use his son as an example. Like, bro, you got a son now, because that was my motivation and inspiration, right? My daughters came later. It was my son that made me think to move different. And again, experience, in my opinion, is only good for the person experiencing it, because now you can let that experience teach others. So, wise men learn from another man's mistakes, and his mistakes definitely helped me move different in life. You know what I mean? And understanding that when you're a part of the problem, now being focused on the solution, that shit matters more than anything, because he's affected way more lives and saved way more lives than he's taken, and you will too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you will absolutely impact way more lives, because again, you're 21. So shit that I experienced, and again, in Ray's story, like, he shit still so impactful and effective because he's still in the fucking trenches. You know what I'm saying, with y'all, right? But y'all, like, he a big ass kid, you know what I mean, on both sides of the equation. But you're able to really impact the youth, right, in such a way, because you've done it. They seen you out there, you know what I'm saying, and they know you with all the shit, right? The piss, the toilet, everything that come with it. But now to go back and give them something else of hope, right? To give them something else that they can accomplish. And
that's really all we wanted, for real, like an ear. Somebody to lean on.
And that's it.
We really can't talk to our mom about getting in shootouts, for real. You know what I'm saying? So we can go to the block and relate to somebody who done been there, or one of the homies in the hood, the older guys who doing that, and who we look up to, who we want to be like.
And Macho, and Mr. Winans.
Right. Ray, we family.
Right. It gives credence, and it gives validity to the reason why we go through the things we go through.
Agreed.
Because had you not
been through it, I wouldn't have Jaheim.
Jaheim would be lost. You were. You're like the stuff we go through, the trials, the tribulations, the struggles, all that type of stuff, really is to build strength in us, but not just that. It's to make us able to impact another person that we see, that we can identify with, and we see their struggle, and we know how to get them out of that. We don't come out just for ourselves.
Right. Jaheim, who do I say saved my life?
As I tell Ray all the time, like, bro, you really saved my life. Because I used to be in there in jail the way I was going.
Who did he say saved him?
He said we do. Because he ain't had his
and
work,
it's reciprocal.
Doing something crazy.
Because if I
it's
think
reciprocal.
About it, all my life, all I did was
because they
drugs.
give you validity.
Listen, but want me to tell you something, though, Mac? It gives me purpose.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, all I did was ever sold drugs and be violent, right? Since I was 14 years old, right? Up until 30, right? So for 16 years, I go to the penitentiary. Man, that shit ain't nothing. I've been on punishment, nigga. It don't matter. What? I'm doing my time. Don't do co-defendants, right? Get the bag in. But when I made my deal with God, because I used to be a non-believer, and I got faced with some shit that really I didn't want to deal with, but I ain't really had no choice but to deal with it. I didn't know it was going to turn out the way it did, right? But I made a deal with God because I heard the voice of the living God. But me making that deal with God, I understand why. Because right now, literally, this is no exaggeration. Right now, like right now tonight, I can coordinate and have 50 young guys anywhere I want them to be. No exaggeration. I'm not making this shit up. I'm talking about real
And that's
girls.
powerful. That's a powerful statement.
But it's
Because
ministry.
they trust you.
And that's what it is. It's
They
ministry.
trust you because you're transparent.
Exactly. And so for me, it's like, listen, I can't give y'all nothing that's going to destroy y'all, bruh. I can't. I can give y'all anything that's going to save y'all lives and help y'all save other people's lives, man.
Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't go through what we go through, come out of it with some wisdom and understanding,
There you go.
and don't pay that wisdom and understanding forward, nigga, we went through that shit in vain.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
Understand why you going through the shit you going through. But from a parent's perspective, dealing with children that just, we have to. I think, and this is a realization I've come to recently since I started this class. To be very frank, we have to really look more at ourselves than our kids, not to excuse anything, but to have a very clear understanding as to what they're capable. We want them to think like we think, and that's just not rational.
And it's not fair.
It's not fair. The brain ain't fully developed till 21. Now, mind you, even though it's fully developed at 21, if everything that has been programmed to think up till 21 ain't gonna change at 21.
Right.
And it's not supposed to. And we understand the development of the brain. We also understand this right here. It becomes a parent's job, right, to expose. So I tell people this. This is what I lead with, no matter who I'm with, because we're talking about the issue of violence in my space. I say, regardless if you believe the Bible or not, let's just use a Bible story, right? A Bible story says that God created the heavens and the earth in 5 days. He created man in 1 day and rested on the seventh day. That's a Bible story, right? So regardless if you believe that story or not, my point is, it took God 5 days to create the environment. 1 day to create man to make sure he was in a
environment that would be conducive
to
the development of this human.
humans. And so what was the hard part? It wasn't the man that he created, the hard part, because he did that shit in 1 day. 5 days to make sure the environment was right. So the environment plays a role. I'm taking these guys to Hawaii, right? We leave for Hawaii April the 2nd, right through the 7th. I went to Hawaii. Hawaii 5-0 was unreal to me, but it looked beautiful as a kid. I was blessed to get the experience to go to Hawaii last month. 5 days in Hawaii, right? My first day, I do a feasibility analysis. Say, man, what's the probability of me getting shot or robbed out in this motherfucker? Because safety is number one for me. Just the way my trauma set up. First day, I'm like, damn, bro, I don't see no probability of motherfucker doing no harm to me. The other 4 days was an experience that I've never experienced before because it was a peace that I've never had prior to me being 9 years old. Right? I say, I want for my people. I want for me what I want for my people. I come back, I get with my board. I say, hey, man, I'm taking a group of 7 to Hawaii. And they don't know the hell you went. I said, yes, the hell I am. So we had this conversation. They pushing back to me on why we can't go to Hawaii, right? I got a nonprofit I'm the CEO of. I say, listen, man, if I decided I was going to take a group of guys to L.A., y'all be like, oh, that's L.A. Cool, right? If I say I'm taking them to Miami, oh, okay, Ray, that's cool. But because I say I'm taking them to Hawaii, the destination becomes the problem, right? I say, so y'all making a decision, I'm going to make an executive decision. I'm taking them to Hawaii. And then they finally say, okay, Ray, you're going to take them to Hawaii. And then one of them say, damn, man, I ain't never been to Hawaii. That's your fault, not theirs. We're going to Hawaii. Now they can't wait. Jaheim ain't never been on a flight. He about to take a 12-hour flight.
I ain't been nowhere but in the hood.
Right? But he's one of the ones that's going to Hawaii to ensure, because I know how shit happen, man. Y'all give me y'all IDs. Y'all take a picture. Y'all shit, keep it on the phone. I'm going to keep y'all physical ID. But I got 6 young boys out the neighborhood that ain't never been to Hawaii. They going to Honolulu, Hawaii, the island of Waikiki. April the 2nd through the 7th. I told them, the shit that y'all carrying to Hawaii, we going to bottle up. We gonna cast that shit.
Goddamn ocean.
Put that shit in that damn ocean. Motherfucker say, hey man, where's that shit come back? I say, man, it ain't your motherfucking job if it come back. You ain't got no business being in the damn ocean looking for a bottle.
You don't have to welcome it back.
Right. Exactly. You gonna cast that shit on. So any behavior, and we going over this shit as a unit. Whatever shit you leave in Hawaii, bruh, if you try to bring that shit back to you when we get to Detroit, my question, my obligation is, bro, damn, when the fuck did you go back to Hawaii to pick that shit up?
So Kim, as a parent, as a final thought, we're going to defer our final thoughts to you and him. I want you to give your final thought as to this topic and what you're thinking and how you're feeling, and then I want you to give your final thought, and then we're going to be out this piece.
Okay, my final thought is, you did give good,
Perspective.
perspectives. You gave good perspectives. But it's still back to me, like we can give out the perspectives, but they gotta want it.
Facts.
That is
They
absolutely true.
gotta want it.
Motivation is key.
You got to want it,
Can't
the
argue with that.
motivation. Whereas you can say this one, the 21-year-old, he don't have the motivation to work. This 20-year-old, she got the motivation to work. This 16-year-old, he got the motivation to work.
That boy gonna be an entrepreneur.
Them my kids'
16-year-old
ages. Them my
is
kids'
about to
ages,
be
and
my
it's just like
mentee.
that.
Yeah, and so you can have the good perspectives, but they gotta want it. They gotta want it. You gotta have the push. You gotta have the drive. You gotta have all that. And then back to it, I work with a bunch of kids now at my job, and they don't even have the motivation. What job can you go to and make $17 an hour? But I say, come to work, and you don't want to come to work. You know what I'm saying? My 20-year-old, she wouldn't work no job that was paying less than $14 an hour. How? Why? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta want it, and then I can give it to you, but I'm not gonna pressure you for it. You gotta want it because you gotta live life, and that's how I am. I was so mad at my 32-year-old. He didn't talk to me for 3 months. I don't care. You gonna need me? I live without you. You ain't never lived without me.
That's real shit.
So
That's a hell of a
he
statement.
came back around. He came back around. I don't need you. And again, that's what I tell them kids. I don't need you. You need me.
Well, your final thought.
My final thoughts is I believe that every human being has a right to experience their own pain, and it's up to them on how much pain they want to experience. For me, pain transformed is wisdom, if you will, right? And so it's a human right. I also feel, right, like when it comes to us as parents, because I'm a father, I left the hood for fatherhood. It becomes
Ooh, that's a book. That's a book title.
It becomes my moral responsibility. My moral responsibility to ensure that I provide the information, right, to the generations behind me, right? Because it's very unfortunate. I'm 44 years old, but in the neighborhoods that I represent, I'm an elder.
What advice do you have for parents like Kim who are struggling with trying to get their children to understand and appreciate what she's trying to deposit into their lives?
Don't take it personal, right? Don't let it question you on your parenting skills. To your question, Matt, it doesn't make you a bad parent, and it's a level of patience, right, that each child has to endure, because even as adults, we still figuring this thing out. If we had it all figured out, then we wouldn't be here, right? And so I think sometimes us as parents, we are more embarrassed by our children's action, thinking that it reflects us in their upbringing, when really it doesn't. And that's what my mom dealt with. My behavior, that didn't represent the way my mom and her integrity and the way that she was raising me, but because of the way society seen her, right, or seen my behaviors, she personalized it, saying, I'm raising you and you're doing a disservice to the world. So therefore, I'm fucking the world up by your actions. And that wasn't the case. These are my decisions. My mama had a plan for my life. I had a plan for my life. And God had a plan for my life. My mama plan wasn't right. My plan wasn't right. God's plan is actually being executed now.
Say that.
So,
And on that note, we appreciate y'all chiming in. Excuse My Truth podcast.
Appreciate
We'll
our
catch
guests.
y'all next
thank y'all for
Wednesday.
having us, man.
Thank
Like,
you.
Ray
seriously.
Wine.
Appreciate
Kimberly
you, Ray,
Carter.
Jaheem. We appreciate you, my
y'all.
guy. Mark D, we out.
Yes, sir.
We out.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7